Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Boxcryptor for Teams webinar. My name is Elizabeth, and I will be your host today. So I would like to wish you first good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where exactly are you joining us from. But I hope that you have brought a good mood with you, and we can start exploring our main topics for today. So the agenda that I have planned is first of all to show a presentation about Boxcryptor, the company behind it, because I guess that some of you are coming across Boxcryptor as a product for the first time. So you might want to know a little bit info about what it is, what it does, and who are we, the people within the company. Then I will also show how Boxcryptor works from a user point of perspective, as well as I will be showing the administrator features. You will see what it's like to use Boxcryptor with Microsoft Teams, and also how does Wisply work. Wisply is our second security product, which is also fully incorporated with Boxcryptor. I will be sharing my screen to begin with. Okay, and I will turn off the camera so that we can focus on the information in a while. Before I do that, I would like to bring your attention to one of our recent blog posts. So this is something that you can find directly on our website in the blog section. And we have written a blog post on the ransomware topic. So this topic is not new, and it is actually becoming quite frequent in the cybersecurity related news lately. But it seems so that there is a different amount of understanding what it is, and also there is a different amount of hesitation within companies about what can it be done in order to protect your data from ransomware. So this is why I encourage you to go ahead and visit our blog post on this topic. And of course, any feedback afterwards will be highly appreciated. Hopefully, when we are talking about the ransomware topic, you are not part of the "it will never happen to me" category, because this is actually a really not good category to be in. To be quite honest, every company has a lot of sensitive data. Data that is not supposed to go out in public. And this is why sometimes it is better to be proactive instead of reactive when it comes to ransomware. I also like to point out one of the sentences that we have written here: encrypt your data before others do. So this is really the truth, and it's really important to use a third-party solution, for example, like Boxcryptor, the one that I will be showing you today, because when you encrypt your data with Boxcryptor, you are the only one that has access to it. And of course, like specific people, team members that you have explicitly shared the access with, and nobody else. So even in the case of ransomware, the data, the encrypted data, will be practically useless for whoever took it. So there is no way that you can lose anything in this case. Okay, so let's go to the presentation part. I will be telling you a little bit more info about Boxcryptor and our company. So Boxcryptor is an encryption software which is used to protect the sensitive data in the cloud. Here is a little bit info about us. Our founders, Andrea and Robert, have created the company behind Boxcryptor, which is called Secomba GmbH. We are on the market since 2011. So last year we have celebrated our 10th anniversary. Our office is based in Augsburg in Germany, which is close to Munich as an orientation point. We are a team of about 30 people, and all of the server infrastructure is hosted in an ISO certified data center in Germany as well. Now back to Boxcryptor and what it does as a security solution. As a Boxcryptor user, you get an end-to-end encryption. Boxcryptor encrypts the data directly on your own device, the place where you install it, and then the cloud storage provider syncs the data in the cloud. That means that the data travels and arrives in the cloud already protected. So in this case, as your data has been previously encrypted before its arrival in the cloud, you prevent your cloud storage provider from accessing the files that you store on their servers. So this is the actual difference between using the security measures that come from your cloud storage provider and having another security layer as the one from Boxcryptor on top of that. This is also valid for any intruders which might breach the cloud account. So they will see that the encrypted data is there, but they won't be able to access it. In addition to this, upon creating your Boxcryptor user account, you set a password which never leaves your device. This password is directly associated with your encryption keys, and since we don't know the password, there is no way for us to have access to the data that you encrypt with Boxcryptor. So this is how the zero knowledge state is achieved. You can also add a two-factor authentication to your account, either on a team level or for your own individual account in order to improve the security setup. By doing this, your users will have to use another factor in addition to their username and password, which, let's say, it might be an app authenticator like Duo or Google, or hardware authenticator like YubiKeys as an example, depending on what you already use in your company currently. The idea of using Boxcryptor is not allowing any unencrypted data to leave your device. Upon installing Boxcryptor, you get a virtual drive, which you use to encrypt and access your data. You have the same view that you are typically used to while working with your cloud storage provider. And this is something that I will show you later today. So one of the most common requirements upon considering an implementation of a new software within a company is its user friendliness, as the end users are people with a different level of technical knowledge. So in Boxcryptor's case, and according to the feedback that we get from our current users, it is quite easy to work with, and there is no special IT knowledge required from the end users. So this means that when you decide to implement Boxcryptor within your company, you wouldn't have to invest too much time in order to educate the team members on how they should work with it. The encryption itself is done on the background, so you won't be seeing any loading bars or anything that will distract the users. This is also something that I will show you today. Upon working with Boxcryptor, you don't have to change your usual workflow. All you need to do is just go to your Boxcryptor drive and you will work as usual with your files there. So in case if you have team members which are spread, let's say, in different locations, regardless if we are talking about several cities or even different countries around the world, as long as they install Boxcryptor on their devices, they will be able to work with the encrypted data as usual. Boxcryptor is available on all of the most common platforms. So there is an app for Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, and we also have a portable version in case you're working with Linux. The client software can be downloaded directly from our website. I will show you exactly from where. It supports more than 30 cloud storage providers, and you can also encrypt your data on your local file shares, NAS drives, external hard drives, or USB sticks. It also supports Microsoft Teams for the public channels, and you will see how this works as well. So when you have Boxcryptor encrypting your sensitive data, your team members can collaborate safely by sharing the access to the encrypted files or folders. In addition to this, if you have external collaborators and you want to share an encrypted file with them, but you don't want to add them as users under your Boxcryptor team plan, or you just don't want to, let's say, complicate the usage for them, you can, in this case, you can use Wisply, which is our second security product that, as I mentioned earlier, it's fully incorporated within a Boxcryptor. So when it comes to the management part, the administrators can easily manage the team account. This is done directly from the web app. So the web app is the place where you as an administrator will be adding users. You will be creating groups, activating the master key, and also other policies that are available. You can sync your Active Directory with Boxcryptor and add your Active Directory users directly under your Boxcryptor team. If you want to automate this process and manage it directly through your identity provider, there is the single sign-on and SIM option as part of the enterprise plan, where the minimum number of users is 50. I apologize for the small breaks. This is because I have to cough now and then. So for the larger companies, the enterprise plan offers the account capture. This is a feature which does the following. Every user that signs up for a Boxcryptor account and it comes, and he or she is coming from your own domain, they will be automatically added as users under your main team plan. So there is no risk of leaving somebody on their own with an individual Boxcryptor account when you have the account capture activated. So when you have any questions or you might be needing some help, regardless if that is while you're testing Boxcryptor or afterwards during the implementation and during the work with Boxcryptor, you can always count on our support. Here we have listed a small part of the companies that are protecting the sensitive data in the cloud with Boxcryptor in case you are recognizing any company and you would like to get, let's say, in touch with them and hear a little bit more about how they work with Boxcryptor, you can directly let me know and I will make an introduction for you. And then right at the end, but definitely high as an importance, it's the fact that due to the service that Boxcryptor provides, which is encryption of the files before they are placed in the cloud, Boxcryptor is considered as a technical and organizational measure which protects your data as part of the GDPR and the CCPA compliance. And right at the end, this time for real, I promise, you can see my contact details. So in case you would be interested in giving Boxcryptor a try after this webinar, or you might have some questions, feedback, anything that you may think of, you can directly reach out to me. Okay, so the presentation part is finished. So let's move to the rest. Here I will just show you quickly around the website. As I mentioned, when you go directly to boxcryptor.com, when you want to test the company plan, you go to the teams section, and this is the place where you can activate your free trial account. So once again, this is the trial available for companies, where you can test literally every feature that is available within the company plan. And this is done together with your team members. So you can add as many users as you need during the trial. There is no limit either on the number of users or the number of devices which you would like to test Boxcryptor on. So this is really a nice opportunity for you to see how an encryption software operates within your own environment. Of course, for the sake of the testing, we do recommend that you use some dummy data, something that is not related to your real production files. And then you can set up like a full operating configuration, which you will keep if you decide to move forward with the team license. And of course, when you activate the trial and you add your users, one of the first steps after creating an account, it would be for you and for them as well to go ahead to our download section and get Boxcryptor on their devices. Usually, when you visit the download section on our website, you will be automatically guided on which option you need to choose according to the operating system that you're using on your device. But here are also the other options that we have. So as I mentioned, you can also use Boxcryptor on mobile platforms like smartphones, tablets. Let's say if you have some team members which are usually working outside of your office, they visit other clients, etc. So sometimes maybe they also take photos which contain sensitive material, sensitive data, and there is an option within Boxcryptor so that every photo that is taken, it will be automatically encrypted and uploaded in your cloud storage provider. So this is an option which you can definitely utilize when it comes to using Boxcryptor on mobile platforms. And also, as I said, there is the option to work with Boxcryptor within Microsoft Teams. So this is something that I will be showing you today as well. Okay. So I think that that was enough information about the website itself. Otherwise, you can find really useful infos about the usage, the setup, and everything else directly on our FAQ section. Okay, so as I said, one of the first things that you would do when you install Boxcryptor and sign into your account is this, the virtual drive. The virtual drive is this additional security layer that I have mentioned, which Boxcryptor provides you with, and it is made in such a way that you would actually see the exact same view that you're familiar with when you're working with the cloud. So today, I will show OneDrive as an example, but the usage is more or less the same when you're working with Dropbox, with Google Drive, with Box Ignite, like literally any other cloud storage provider that you might be working with. The principle of usage is more or less the same. And in addition to this, as I mentioned previously, so you also have the option to encrypt the data that is also on your local file shares. And if you don't see any location, for example, listed here, let's say you, as you are seeing on my side, I have several cloud storage locations which are automatically detected by Boxcryptor. But if you want to add a local file share, USB stick, or like even a single folder directly on your machine, you can go to Boxcryptor and do a right click and go to the settings part. And this is the locations section, the place where you can manually add another location if needed. So of course you would do that with the add button. Otherwise, if you're already syncing locally something on your machine, Boxcryptor will detect it. Okay, so as you can see what I have, so this is my cloud view from OneDrive, and this is my Boxcryptor view over here from the virtual drive. So the virtual drive is the place where your users will have to go in order to either encrypt files or access the encrypted files or folders. I realize that sometimes you might ask yourself, like, how can I prevent my users from making a mistake and going to the original location instead of the one from the virtual drive from Boxcryptor? So there are ways that you can directly do this on an operation system level. And if this is something that you are not sure about, you can just drop me an email and I can send you some guides about how to do this on your site, so that your users will, your team members will see only the cloud storage directly from the Boxcryptor view. So they won't leave any data unencrypted to go in the cloud. So how do we work with Boxcryptor? You see that after the automatic detection, you're able to see all of the files that you already have directly in your cloud account. So at this point, that doesn't mean that you are automatically encrypting everything. No, at this point, you are deciding which data would you like to have encrypted. So how does that happen? Let me show you directly by creating, let's say, a brand new folder. And as you can see, when I do this directly from within the Boxcryptor drive, I have this question from Boxcryptor asking me if I would like to encrypt this folder. So I will agree to this. And if you want to skip this question, so you don't want your users to have to deal with it, you will arrange this with one of the policies that we have available for you as an administrator, which means that you will activate the encryption for every file or folder that will be created from within your Boxcryptor drive. So the users won't be asked, anything that they create from here will be automatically encrypted. I hope you have also noticed here on the left side where I show the cloud view, here is the new folder that I have just created. So basically now I can go ahead and add, let's say, some kind of a file, something that needs to be placed here. So let me just use one of the test files that I have here. Let's say I can take this business presentation template and place it directly within the folder. So technically, anything that you place within an encrypted folder will be automatically encrypted as well. And depending on the access permissions that you have set for the top folder, everything that goes within this folder will automatically inherit the same access permissions as the top folder. So for your work to be a little bit easier, we have added these green icons to the files, which are showing you that the file or the folder has already been encrypted. As I mentioned previously, now you saw how I have created the folder, added a file to it, which is, and both of them are already encrypted, but there is no loading bar or anything that is being shown on the front. So everything what Boxcryptor does when it comes to the encryption is in the background. Okay, so when I go back to the folder that I just created, let me just show you how you set the access permissions. So you want to share this folder with your team members, and how would you do that now that is already encrypted? So you do a right click over the encrypted folder, and then you go to Boxcryptor and manage permissions. So this is the place where you say which exactly will have, which person will have access to this folder. You have two options here. You can either add individual users by just writing their email addresses, or you can add groups. So at this point, we assume that you have already added your team members as Boxcryptor users under your team account, and now you can assign the access permissions whenever you are encrypting some data. We usually recommend that you use actively the group feature and assign the access permissions to entire groups. So you will also set the different groups directly from the web app, from your admin account. You will see where and how. And why do we recommend this? Because from one side, it is really easier for you, so you won't be wasting that much time to go and assign the access permissions for each individual folder or file to separate people. Let's say you have a management team of 10 people. Imagine going to do this the same operation 10 times in a row. In addition to this, when you do this on an individual basis, so the file will be synced every time to different to those people who have access to it. So this is really like a waste of precious time. So you would go ahead and add these people in the management team group and directly assign the access permissions to the file that they need to work with. So the groups are like just an example when it comes to creating them for your teams. Other example, something that many of our clients are doing is creating a group for a project. Let's say you are working, you have a research team and they're working on different types of projects, and you want to specify which data will be used from which teams, from which people, so that there isn't any interference between them. So you can, in this case, use directly the group and assign the group permissions to the files that you encrypt. Okay, so of course, like when you add the group or the respective user, you will apply the access permissions and that's it. And as soon as you have also shared, let's say, the access from the cloud storage provider, in this case from OneDrive, so all that the users will need to do is just to sign into their Boxcryptor accounts and go to the place where this folder that you have just shared with it is. So nothing else. So they don't need any additional passwords or any additional links to follow. So nothing. We try to make it as simple as possible. You just sign into your Boxcryptor account and access the data that you have access permissions for. Okay, so let me just show you also how does this look on the cloud side. So this is the same new folder that we have just created. Here it is, the new folder, and inside we have the business presentation template. So on the cloud side, choose the new folder along with the business presentation template. So what you may notice here is that when a file is encrypted, it gets an extension .bc. So in addition to the green mark that we are setting on the files or the folders in order for you to recognize what is encrypted and what not. So when you're on the cloud side, the .bc is a clear sign for you that the data is encrypted. And what happens, let's say, if I have somehow got an access to your cloud account, but I don't have access through Boxcryptor. So I see that your file is here and I will try to open it, but this is what happens. So I won't be able to see what exactly you have here. As I mentioned earlier, if I am an intruder or I am somebody from the cloud storage provider side, and I can see that your data is here, but there is no way that I can access it because I don't have any access permissions that you have granted for me through Boxcryptor. So this is the protection that Boxcryptor is offering for you. In addition to this, if you want to go a step further, you can also encrypt the file name. So maybe you don't want it to be shown exactly what is the name of the file so that somebody wouldn't make any assumption about what kind of content do you have there. So what would you do is you would enable the file name encryption. So we always go to the Boxcryptor virtual drive, like literally always. Your entire operation will be done here. And then once again, you go over with the right click over the encrypted file, the Boxcryptor menu, and now you will activate the file name encryption. So when you do this, what will happen is as soon as the sync from Microsoft is finished, we will see this here directly. But what will happen is that we will see the name of the file here in plain text from our virtual drive, and the file that is already in the cloud, it will have a string of agent characters, so it won't be readable. So the characters don't really mean anything. It's really just a random thing that is being shown. There it is. So this is the same file that we have just encrypted its file name. So this allows you to have the file name available for you from your side. But for example, if somebody has access to the data from the cloud storage provider and they see this file, they won't even know what it is. It's unreadable. And this is something that you can use both for files and folders. You can revert this in case you don't need it at one point, or you just wanted to give it a try and see how that looks. So you can revert it by disabling the file name encryption. So why did I say a minute ago, like as soon as the sync from Microsoft is completed? This is something that I also mentioned in the beginning. So whenever Boxcryptor encrypts the data, its job is finished. So afterwards, the next step is being performed from the cloud storage provider. So in this case, when Boxcryptor encrypts the data that I have on OneDrive, afterwards it's Microsoft that is syncing the data to the cloud, and of course, like spreading it around the rest of the people which you have given permissions to. So the sync is not done from Boxcryptor. Okay, so let's see the next option that you have. It might be sometimes that you would encrypt some data and you would like to share it with external people. These external people would be somebody that you are either collaborating on a really rare occasion, like you're sending file once per month, or it would be somebody that you just don't want to add under your Boxcryptor team account. So your team account always comes in a set of 5 user seats, with company 5 being the smallest one available. So depending on your current needs, if you have sometimes different projects, you can also make an upgrade of the account and have available free seats. But in the case of you just wanting to share a file with somebody externally, you can use Wisply. So as I said, Wisply is the second security product that we have, and which is fully incorporated within Boxcryptor. So how do we do this? Once again, right click when you're in the virtual drive, and over the encrypted file, you go to Boxcryptor. So now I want to send this business presentation template, let's say, to be reviewed by a person that is helping me work with it. Then I will go directly to the create Wisply link. So what Wisply does is it's something similar, for example, to the public link, which you create when you want to share a file directly from within your OneDrive with somebody external. So this is like a similar operation, with the small but important difference that the file is encrypted. So there this is how it works. We are being brought directly to the website of Wisply, and the file is already encrypted because it's directly in our Boxcryptor folder. Now we can choose here the different options, like set an expiry if you would like to, or make it available only once for a download. And then you just click proceed. And then here it is interesting because you can either send the link directly to the recipient, or to be sure that this will be the only person that will have access to it, you can set a PIN or a password. So you can send the PIN or the password in via a different channel. Let's say you will send the link through email, and then the PIN maybe in a message, whatever works best for you. But you this somehow makes you confident that only this recipient will be able to access the data. I will use the link option for the sake of the demo today, and this is it. My link is now copied, and I can send it to the recipient. This means that I am assuring the recipient that I am sending the file in a secure manner. What happens afterwards, after the person downloads the file on their side, is their responsibility. How does that work? So in case you would like to give it a try, and why do we say that it's like extremely easy? So the recipient would need the link, and depending if you have chosen a PIN or a password, and all that he or she needs is just a browser with an internet connection. So the recipient would enter the link, and immediately the decryption will happen from within the browser, and the person will be able to download the file on their side. And that's it. So that would be the only step that the recipient would have to take. Just enter the link into the address bar in their browser. I would say that it's pretty simple. And one other case which you can take advantage of Wisply, so especially when you are sending the file to external people and they amend this, let's say this person that I have just collaborated with on the business project template that I have just sent, is suggesting me some kind of changes. So the person can do this and also come to the Wisply website and send the file directly to me by using Wisply directly from its website. So without the need to have a Boxcryptor account, I will be now the recipient. I will get the link from them and I will be able to download the file on my side. And in my case, because I already have Boxcryptor, I can directly download the file in my folder so that it would be immediately encrypted, which means that by using Wisply back and forth, in the case of working with external collaborators, you close this cycle and you are sure that the data is being exchanged safely without having to make somebody to use, let's say, an additional software like Boxcryptor. So if you want to test this, this is available within the team plan. And as I said, it comes with the team trial comes with all of the features. So you can directly use it as for any possible case scenario that you might have on your side. Okay, so the last part of showing how a Boxcryptor works from a user point of view would be the app that we have for Microsoft Teams. So this is quite useful if you work with Teams for your internal collaboration, because it happens so that sometimes when we as team members, when we exchange something with the rest of the team, it might have some sensitive data. So you are on the safe side when this data is also encrypted within Teams as well. So the thing to note is that if you would like to use Boxcryptor for Teams, your administrator, your Microsoft administrator will have to install it so that you would have it available on your site. How is that done? And all of the information that we have for the Teams app is available directly on our FAQ section when you go to the Teams part. So we really have a detailed explanation on Microsoft Teams. Okay, so let me go back to the Teams part. You will find Boxcryptor once it's installed in 3 different locations. So one of them is here on the left side, which is associated directly with your personal OneDrive, so that you will have access to your data directly within Teams. So let me go back to my OneDrive so that you will see that this is really the exactly same, the exact same things that I have from my cloud view. This is something that I'm seeing from my Teams view, thanks to Boxcryptor. So even the new folder that I have just created today, it's already available. Okay, so this is one of the places. So for your personal OneDrive, then the other place is here in the channel tab. So it is available directly to be used within the channel. And everything that I upload, for example, will be accessible from the users that are part of this channel. So of course, let me mention once again, at this point, I assume that you have already added these channel users also to be part of your Boxcryptor team account. So this is the only way that they will be able to access the encrypted data. Of course, it's really simple to place any data here for the channel. You can either directly drag and drop a file here, or you can use the upload option. So let me just use another test file that I have so that you will see how that works. So once again, there are no loading bars or anything, you can just directly see the file that is being uploaded here. Okay, here it is, presentation template. It is already encrypted. And what's really nice is that, for example, if I want to share this presentation template with a team member, instead of telling him or her, hey, I've just uploaded the file in the in Boxcryptor in our channel, go ahead and find it. So I can just make the things easier and copy the link. So this is going to copy the location of where exactly is the file being placed, and I can share this link, let's say in the chat with my colleague. Here is the file, for example, and I just paste the link, and my colleague can, he or she won't waste any time to find the file, but they can directly locate it. And the third place where Boxcryptor can be found is as a messaging app over here. So you can use it for two cases. You can either directly upload an encrypted file, or you can also send an encrypted message. So uploading an encrypted file works as exactly as easy as everything else that I have shown so far. So you're just choosing the file, and Boxcryptor does its work, and then it will be available for you to post it within the channel so that the users will be able to decrypt and download it. And in addition to this, you can also send, as I said, an encrypted message. So this is how that works. You just click the Boxcryptor icon here on the bottom part and send an encrypted message. So here we do have some options. For example, you can state a subject, the test subject. You can write the message. So the subject, like, it's not that relevant, is really optional, and this is not going to be encrypted, but the part where the message is located, it will be encrypted. So let's say one example is sharing contact details with some of your colleagues. Your colleague is somewhere outside and he or she's using Teams on their phone, so they can just get, let's say, a contact details directly encrypted from within Teams. And yes, this is how it works. So the messaging option will be available for you both in the channel and also in chats. So you have still Boxcryptor available here at the bottom, and you can use it either for encrypted messages or encrypted files when you are communicating with a colleague of yours within one-on-one chat. Okay, so that's it when it comes to using Boxcryptor directly, the software. So what it is like, for example, when you're an administrator, and how do you manage your team account. So when you are the account administrator, the first thing that you will do, you will go ahead and sign into your account directly on our website. So I will just use one of my test accounts that I have in order to show you how the web app looks like. The first part that you will see is the one that is marked with green. So this is the individual account that you're having with Boxcryptor, because you have like an individual and also a team account, the admin account. So you can easily recognize them, as I said, with the color. So the green part is your own individual. The part that is meant to manage, to administrate your team is by going here on the left side on the menu at the Manage Organization section. So now it is blue, we are at the team part. And here you have several options that I have already mentioned. First of all, something that we are now discussing for the first time, the master key. There is a reason why the master key is being placed here directly at the beginning. This is something that you would activate immediately upon starting a trial of Boxcryptor, because for you as an administrator, the master key is really important in two cases. One of them is doing a password reset on behalf of the team members so that they wouldn't lose access to the encrypted data. And this is something that you do. They don't do it on their own, because as I said, we don't know the password of each user's account. And if an account reset is being done, the set of encryption keys is gone. And that means that also the access that this person had to the data that they have encrypted is also gone. So this is something that you deal with by the usage of the master key. And also the second use case is for you to be able to access any data that your team members have encrypted. So why is this important? Let's say it might happen so that the person would leave your team without sharing their access with the data that they have to the data that they have encrypted. And of course, we are talking about a company data, your own company. So it is important that you have a way to retrieve this access. And this is where the master key comes in place. So the master key is also available for you during the company trial. Then the user section, I think that's self-explanatory from its name. So this is the place where you're going to add your team members. You can also add people that are not your team members. Let's say if you have projects on which you're extensively collaborating with external people, you can directly add them as part of your company plan so that you can work on the data together. And this is the place where you would do it. You can either add them by entering first name, last name, and email address, or you can import a list of the same three fields that I have mentioned. And also there is the option to connect your user directory. This is different when you have single sign-on activated. And here is the group section. So this is the place where you are forming the usage within the team. As I said, it's really good when you use the groups feature because you can allocate the access permissions faster and easier. And you can directly create new groups. You can assign the team members. You can remove team members. It really depends on how do you want to set up everything. So just to go back quickly to the users part, I would like to mention something. Here, where the three dots are, you are having the option to either disable a user. So this would happen in the cases where a team member doesn't need access to the data anymore, or he has left the company and you are disabling the account. So you are not deleting the account because at the first, let's say the first at least month after the person has left, maybe you are not exactly sure if you really have access to all of their data, or maybe you might need to use the master key. So this is why you would disable the account in this case, which would also automatically grant you a free user seat that you can assign to another team member. And here is the place where you can also add the admin rights to another person. And this is something that we actually recommend, because maybe if you would be the only person that is the account administrator, and sometimes you are not available to act on something, change a policy, add a new user, etc. And there will be always another person who would also do this on your behalf. So let's say for a company plan, it is good to have at least 2 account administrators. There is no need to mention here that that would be a person that you would trust from your team. Okay, then after the groups, it's the policies section. So this is really probably one of the biggest sections that we have available, because there are a lot of policies that you can get advantage of. So I'm not going to go into too many details, because it's usually an individual setup that you would like to achieve on your side. So this is something that you can test when you have the company trial activated. There are different sections which are covering the access part, account, authentication. So this is the place where you set up, as I mentioned, let's say an additional authenticating method. And there are also other options that you can explore. So what is important to mention here is that whenever you activate a policy, you can exclude yourself as an administrator, especially when it comes to this restriction, the access restriction policies. So it's really important for you to be able to come back to your account and to be able to sign in. Let's say, especially if you apply some kind of a restriction policy, because otherwise, if you apply it to everybody, including yourself, maybe you wouldn't be able, let's say, to sign into your account if you, let's say, change your IP address. You have just left the office and you are continuing with the work from your home. So in this case, it would be really a nice option to exclude yourself from this policy. So this is the same with every other policies that we have. Then what is next? The activities part. So this is the place where you will see any logs about the usage of Boxcryptor, the usage of the Boxcryptor client or the web app. What you wouldn't see is anything related to the data. Like you wouldn't see logs as who has encrypted what, who has shared a file or a folder with whom. So this is not available for us to show it, because we, as the provider, also don't have access to it. Otherwise, you can, as an administrator, you can see the activities that the users are, what are the users doing when it comes to the client side or the web app side. You can filter them by different users, the type of activity, or also the period of time. And you have the options to export the results, and maybe, let's say, you can use them in a CM in order to further analyze them. So that was the activities part. And the last part is the plan. So this will be the place which is showing you what kind of license do you have, and if you want to do an upgrade of it. Okay, so I think that that was it. So I have shown you how Boxcryptor works from a user point of view, from an administrator point of view, and also how do you work with Boxcryptor and Teams, and how you can use Whisply.